Hey everyone, Cindy here. Happy Saturday. Hope you guys are having an amazing day, evening, wherever you're at. And I am super excited to chat with you guys a little bit about online dating, seeing how it's Saturday night and it's likely to be a dating night for you, quite possibly. If it's not, well, it could be. So, listen up. Anyway, if you're here, feel free to send hearts. All your questions will be answered. Again, I'm Cindy with Create Your Own Luck and Love, and also your host of the Successful Woman's Guide to Meet and Marry Her Man. How amazing are my experts today? Catherine Alice, Tracy Crossley. If you guys haven't gotten a chance to watch or listen to our discussions, they're absolutely amazing and super grounding in the sense of creating authentic, deep connection and creating the type of relationship that you want, especially as a successful woman. So, by popular request, I'm going to go ahead and talk about online dating. So again, if you're on here, send me hearts, ask me questions, and I'd love to hear where you're at too. If you're from Colorado, New York, Las Vegas, the Netherlands, wherever, I want to hear from you where you're at, and I'm going to dive into this really quickly. So, online dating is a very prevalent way to meet nowadays. And I know so many people out there that do utilize online dating if they're not in college or in a place in their life where they're networking and meeting a lot of people on the regular. So, when it comes to online dating, I have some specific tips and tricks that work very, very well, actually. And, it can be, and just so you ladies know out there, it can be confusing, it can get frustrating if you don't have the knowledge and the tools on how to navigate this successfully. So, number one, before I go into the best online dating tips for you, and like I said again, I will answer any of your questions. Number one thing is have in your mind being very, very clear before you even start online dating. What are my intentions behind this? Is my intention to, ultimately bring in the love of my life? Is my intention to have fun, meet new people? And it could be both, right? But when you have a very clear intention in mind, maybe, and for you that could be your end result, then, and it should be an end result, but having that intention as well as going, okay, my intention is to bring in the love of my life, and I want to have fun in the process. Let it be easy, right? So, top 3 tips, write these down to online dating. 1, be happy, be open. No, that's not really one, but there's a lot of different apps. There's a lot of different online dating sites, and I know that's confusing. Many people are using dating apps today. So Bumble, Tinder, Match.com. I would say those are the top 3. There's some others that get a lot of, there's a lot of people that meet through Plenty of Fish, through eHarmony is another one. That one's a little tricky sometimes, but I'll get into that later. But there are many different dating sites out there. If you have questions about any of them, you can feel free to ask your question in this group, in the box. Let me know. But number one, pick a platform. Number two, and I would pick more than one site. Number two, you want to have great marketing photos. And I said marketing photos because your photos are going to be the thing that markets you and shows you. Thanks for the hearts and the thank you and the thumbs up. But pictures are really important. I'm sure you guys have heard the saying, and I think I said this the other day, picture speaks 1,000 words. And it's true. So, couple of tips and tricks I'm going to give you when it comes to online dating and marketing yourself properly, okay? So number one tip is make sure that you have a couple of good head to mid body shots. And let me explain what that looks like. So head to mid, like right under the breast line. I know my cleavage is really showing right now. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. But so, you know, taking a picture like this, and smiling. Make sure you're smiling in your photos, okay? And wear pictures that pop. Smiling directly at the camera. Because here's the thing, if you're doing a far off look that may be sexy, it may be really cute or artsy, what happens is men actually come to their own conclusions in their mind of who you are and what they think of you. Because if you're not smiling, it's up to that person's imagination. So they may think something completely different than the message you're trying to convey, which is, hey, you know, this is my marketing photo. This is me. This is a representation of me. Okay, so there's that. Take 1 to 2 pictures. Also, colors that pop. What I mean by that, red is a very good color. Royal blue, fuchsia, yellows, any colors that pop, any colors that can get a person notice. Catherine, I have a really good full body pic from a year ago that I like to use. My hair was blonde then, and do I think I could use them with a disclaimer? I would challenge you to get some more full body shots taken with your hair the way that it is now. Because if you took great photos with your hair as a blonde a year ago, you'll still take great full body shots now. So you definitely want to do that. You want a couple of full body shots, and don't be afraid of full body shots because he's going to see you anyway when he meets you. So you want to make sure that you're showing your full self. And, you know, a couple of full body shots are great. I like solid colors, by the way. Black is kind of black, right? So colors that pop, it does not have to be solid, but it's really important to have those photos. So, and I'm going to give you guys just a couple of tips around makeup. I want to spend some more time on the other areas that are really important too. Is you want to, if you're going to, do your pictures, I wouldn't do them myself. I would have somebody take my pictures for me. So if you have a trusted girlfriend, many iPhones today, frankly, they have great cameras. So you can actually go to a Lancome, MAC counter or something, get your makeup done. And I'm going to give you a tip around that too. also get some lashes put on. Unless your lashes are incredibly long, then you don't have to do that. But what happens is with lashes, it makes your eyes pop. Even if you don't have blue eyes, it really does bring out your eyes, and it's in photos it's a good look. It doesn't mean that that's what you wear every single day. Men won't even notice, but it adds an extra oomph to your photos. So that much I highly recommend. Some people get their lashes done. I actually get my lashes done. Can you see? Can you tell? They're very natural though. So, but my branding photos have pretty heavy lashes on. And in fact, I would have, if, my next branding shoot, even though I get my lashes done, I will have lashes on them because, again, it emphasizes the eye and it makes them pop. So there's that. Making sure you have that bright, beautiful smile, pop of lipstick. You can go more natural on the eye, and let them know what you're doing. I'm taking a few pictures for my online dating profile, and the makeup artists are amazing, at Nordstrom, Macy's, wherever you go. And MAC, they tend to do especially well. Sephora, they'll do that for you too. So do that. And make sure there's not a lot of distractions around you when taking pictures. So you don't want to have like a full, background of like a million people behind you when there's pictures. And you don't want pictures with your girlfriends either. So those are a couple of no-nos. No pictures with girlfriends, and part of the reason for that, I think it's Captain Obvious, but not a lot of people know this or actually understand this, is that, he may not know which one you are. So if 3 out of 5 of your pictures are with a girlfriend, he might be like, is that her? I don't know. And then he might be looking at one of the other girls going, well, who's that cute blonde in that picture? And you don't want to do that. You want the attention to be on you. Okay, so there's that, right? So those are some great things for aesthetic and marketing. And you also want a dating profile that describes you and what you're looking for. So a descriptive profile. If you're on a dating app like Bumble, Tinder, Coffee Meets Bagel, the profile, the bio is really short. On Match.com, they're far longer, but they don't need to know everything about you. So what they do want to know is they want to get a feel for what your life is like and how they could fit into it. And you want to be specific about where you're at and what you want. So for example, I'll give you a quick example of a profile. Would you like that? Would that be helpful? Give me thumbs up, hearts for yes. I'll move forward if that's what you would like. So a quick example is, and this is a semi-sample of a profile that I will be happy to talk to you about, that I wrote for a client of mine. So we said something, and you want it to tell a story. It illustrates a bit of a story. So you might find me on any given morning, I'll be descriptive about clothing, like tank top on, Lululemons, slipping into my flip-flops, with my golden, coffee in hand, heading down to the local dog park. I love I love the feeling of the morning sun and cool, brisk air as I'm walking in the morning. When not, when not doing that, when, you know, then you might catch me. I can read one sometime. I'll post a couple. It's harder to say it. But then I'm rushing to my next, shortly thereafter, I'm rushing to morning yoga class after my vinyasa, heading back home to plan my, with my day, planning my next trip that takes me, that from time to time takes me on far off assignment. Seeking, and see, there's a bit of intrigue there on far off assignment. So the woman that I'm speaking of is actually a photographer and she does photographs for entrepreneurs. So she will photograph, in fact, she's my photographer, but she'll photograph events and people all over the world. So we put a bit of intrigue in there. And then the next paragraph was, seeking a loving, committed relationship with a partner, with a like-minded partner that ultimately wants marriage and family. So we're very specific about who she is, what it is she wants. Seeking a partner that, and I think we said something about, that's always looking for betterment within himself, as well as, bringing out the best in one another. Looking for a long-term committed relationship leading towards marriage and family. That's what she's seeking. So we were very, very specific. Here's why, you guys. If you're not specific, then what happens is that you're going to get any Joe Schmo swiping right on you that finds you attractive. But the guys that aren't necessarily looking for what you're looking for, you could have said something disqualifying in there. Like, if he's not seeking a long-term committed relationship, if he's just out there dating to date, which there's nothing wrong with that. And most people ultimately are not, but there are some people that are. You will deter them by saying that up front. And so those are two places that you definitely do want to make sure that you're specific and telling a story. I've done some where, you might find me, and it's something around your passion. Your profile doesn't need to tell, someone all your highlights about you, just a little taste. Because there's plenty of time to find out when you meet. So those are your top two dating tips. And number 3, when it comes to online dating. Online dating is completely different than meeting organically. So it's different it's completely different because you're virtually meeting. And you want to, on Bumble, the women reach out to the men first, and then you guys correspond from there. On Tinder, it doesn't matter. I think it doesn't matter on Coffee Meets Bagel. And obviously on the rest of them, you it's mutual. Now, there's some common misconceptions when it comes to online dating. Now, what I teach is around, creating a relationship where a man cherishes and adores you, right? Not just in the beginning, but as you become closer and closer, he continues to cherish and adore you and cherishes you even more as the relationship moves further. Commonly, it's the opposite. So I coach that into my clients, but a lot of times when it comes to online dating, women will get entitled around that. They'll act like they've got a little bit of a chip on their shoulder. Not every woman, but I've experienced it quite a bit, thinking that, well, he should approach me and they should be the ones that are reaching out to me, when in fact I hear you. And when you're online, a man doesn't really care about you until he meets you. That's a cold, hard truth. They don't. They might think you've got a pretty face or a nice smile or whatever. Or something may speak to them in your profile. So here's how you do it to get maximum amount of connections. And what you want to do is date abundantly until the right man takes you off the market. Okay? So the third thing you want to do is reach out to between 20 and 50 men online. And you heard me, 20 to 50 men online. If you reach out to 50, you'll probably get about 12 dates on average. So, and a good line is, a couple of good lines to say are, look at their picture, look at their profile, look at what speaks to you. Use that inner voice and inner guide of, not just the fact that maybe he looks like he's super handsome and you'd like to meet him, but, I can tell you this, especially when it comes to men. And I've had this experience myself online dating. I've gone by my gut and intuition quite a bit, and I've been only pleasantly surprised by men that I've met. And oftentimes I've thought, wow, they could really use some help with their pictures, because it's not actually showcasing the person they are. So there's that. So you definitely can't expect him to be doing the same thing you are. Some men do. Some men have great online photos. It's not always the exception. It's not always the rule. And you cannot tell chemistry through photos. So remember that. So your goal is to reach out from 20 to 50 guys. Look at their pictures, look at their profiles, and pick out something unique. Gosh, that blue shirt looks great on you in your picture. That color suits you, smiley face. I wouldn't go with the classic, hey, how's your day? It's not quite as compelling. Not that you need to be super compelling, because I'll tell you one thing. Dating apps are different than like Match.com or any online dating site. Online dating sites, women get bombarded, or men reach out far more than women do. So the chances of you actually getting a man to respond back to you is pretty high, and if he doesn't, it's because for whatever reason, he doesn't see that you guys are a fit, and oh well, next. And do not take that personally. or he's not really available, and God is using that as a weeding out technique. So really choose to look at it from a higher level. So, or maybe you see a really amazing mountain in the photo, and you see that maybe it looks like he's hiking it, and you can say something along the lines of, gosh, that, is that Mount Everest? I've heard that's quite a crazy climb. Did you do it? Or whatever, right? Something that's a connection point. I noticed you love Thai food. What's your favorite Thai restaurant in the area? Create connection points. And then you want to do 2 to 3 messages and then turn it into a meeting. Something along the lines of, and I coach this with my clients all the time, like, hey, it's fun chatting on here, and I find it easier to see if there's more of a connection by meeting in person. Let me know if you're up for a quick coffee soon. And then let's say he says, sure, sounds great. What were you thinking? Then you want to turn it into a phone call before a meeting. And that's pretty important because you want to make sure the guy can, put together a few sentences. And you can generally get a little bit of a feel from a person by talking to them on the phone. So say, gosh, that, if he says, great, what'd you have in mind? Well, how about we have a quick 10-minute phone call before a meeting? Smiley face. And he'll go, sure. Great, give me your number, or here's my number. And then you can use a couple things. I wouldn't necessarily give out my cell phone number before meeting someone. So you can use an app called Sideline, or you can use a Google phone number. It's for your security, and you always want to meet in a public place, especially on the first, second, even third meetings. You want to make sure that you're getting to know this person, that you get a good vibe, get a good energy, because you want to make sure that they are who they say they are, that they're, a good guy. I believe that most people are good people, but we want to be safe, right? So you say, great, when shall I ring you? That's the only time you're going to call him, by the way, unless you call him back. So we'll talk about that later. But at any rate, when's a good time to ring you? And if you're not available at that time, say, gosh, darn, I won't be available at that time. Is there any other time that works, any other time over the next couple of days that work well for you? And then call him. Awesome, I'll call you tomorrow between, 5 and 7, whatever he says. Call him. If you have a Google Voice number, you can always give him, leave him a voicemail and let him call you back, right, on the Google Voice number. And I believe you can do that on Sideline too. And those are free apps, by the way. Absolutely free. So you have your quick 10-minute phone call. Do not make it longer than 10 minutes. And then at the end of the call, you say, gosh, this is great. I'm so excited to meet you. I look forward to that coffee. When shall we meet? That's the only time you're going to lead him to, because you want to get the coffee date in. If he's totally off kilter, you're not quite, you get a really weird feeling, and that's more the exception than the rule, and it can happen. I've seen it happen where the guy was barely talking, or it was, And it can be awkward the first 10-minute phone call unless you're somebody that likes to talk a lot and you don't even notice. But, in generally speaking, give them grace. He might be nervous. If you feel a bit strained or awkward, go for it anyway, because you only want to meet for an hour the first time you meet. You're meeting for a quick coffee, and he might say, well, how about if we meet for dinner? Sure, sounds great. Don't redirect him. Sounds great. I'm free Tuesday, Wednesday next week. What are you thinking? Awesome. I'll meet you there. See you at 6 on Wednesday. Boom. You're done. And, if he doesn't mention the coffee in the 10 minutes, you've got to make sure you cut it off. Like 9 minutes. Gosh, this has been lovely. I sure look forward to meeting you. There's a reason for that. Because, and this will go into dating too, as you're getting to know men, you want to leave before they want you to. And that's a common mistake that I see women do. They'll hang out, they'll stick around the guy's house or whatever, and he's kind of like, well, I think I'm going to go to the gym. Like, he's not, he's not kicking you out, but he's kind of like, okay, date's over. And sometimes women will kind of hang out, and you want to make sure that you're leaving a little bit before they do, because it creates tension and it creates a deeper attraction. Like, hey, what's she up to? And a lot of women aren't that way. They become needy when they meet a guy, they're attracted to him, they like him, and I help women to understand what that is, understand what that tension is, and also not leaving in a mechanical note, but leaving on, authentically, making sure that you have a full life besides a man. So I hope this is helpful. Please let me know if you guys have any questions. I'm here to support, help you along this pathway, and I will definitely make sure and answer any questions that you might have. But I know this is a lot of information. Let me know how it goes. Let me know how your online dating's going. It's a great way to meet, like-minded individuals, like-minded men that are, serious about this area of their life too. So I am sending love, and I will see you guys tomorrow. And have an amazing Saturday night. And don't be afraid to swipe on a Saturday night. You never know who you're going to connect with and meet. All right? Mwah. Bye.